The night air of the royal capital was shattered by a scream. Inside a cultist hideout, 2 guards in full armor found themselves facing a whirlwind of death clad in a black slime suit. "What the hell are you?" one demanded, his voice trembling. The other pleaded, "Stop! What did we ever do to you?" Their questions were met with only a gloved hand reaching for a terrified face, a cry for help choked off mid-syllable. Delta, the unpredictable beast girl of Shadow Garden, grinned with the sheer joy of the hunt, her eyes glowing with feral delight. She was a storm of black steel and fur, her massive slime sword carving through armor and flesh with contemptuous ease. The room became a tableau of destruction, with bodies strewn amidst the rubble, as Delta moved with the fluid grace of a predator, leaving only carnage in her wake. From a rooftop overlooking the city, Alpha watched the explosions bloom across the districts. "It has begun," she murmured, the clock tower marking the start of their operation. She gave a long-suffering sigh, observing one particularly large demolition. Delta, she always goes overboard. Alpha mused that she didn't recall ordering an entire building to be bisected, but conceded it would certainly make things easier. With her subordinates creating the perfect diversion, she decided it was time to make her own move. Elsewhere, in the cold darkness of a subterranean cell, Princess Alexia Midgar stirred. She groggily looked up at the stone confines of her prison. "Where am I?" A faint clinking sound drew her attention to her wrist. "Magic sealing shackles?" she noted with a distinct lack of panic, examining the restraints on her wrists and ankles. She let out a small sigh of understanding. "Oh, I get it. I was kidnapped." This was hardly a new experience for royalty. There are countless fools out there who think it's a great idea to kidnap and ransom a princess, she thought, a flicker of concern crossing her mind for the first time. But I wonder if Pooch is all right. She pictured Sid, her pathetic pet, likely tossed aside and forgotten. "He was my first partner in crime," she recalled, a strange sentiment for the boy she'd blackmailed. "If he got mixed up in this, then he must already—" A sudden rattling sound cut off her thoughts. "There's someone else here," she called out, a sliver of hope in her voice. "Who's there? Is that you, Pooch?" The figure that shuffled out of the shadows was decidedly not her pet. It was a wretched, hairless creature, hunched and emaciated, with long claws and a broken chain dangling from its collar. It let out a low, guttural sound. Alexia's eyes widened in shock. A monster? A man in a lab coat burst into the room, his entrance frantic. Damn it all!" he shrieked, his composure completely gone. "They already sniffed us out!" He trembled with rage and fear. "Just when I finally managed to get my hands on it, the royal blood!" He looked from Alexia to a syringe in his hand, his mind racing. I need to harvest a lot more. I guess I must drain all that I can before I make my escape." Alexia, ever the princess, faced him with unnerving calm. "Greetings. You're my kidnapper, I presume? What do you need my blood for?" The scientist stammered, Yours is the blood of demon kind, which will restore demons to our realm." "Demons?" Alexia repeated, intrigued. The scientist ignored her, descending into a rambling tirade. At first, this wasn't the plan." He wobbled on his feet, gesturing at the monster. "But those morons screwed up everything." He began kicking the pathetic creature. I only needed a little more time, but those morons, my research, destroyed." He grabbed the monster's head, his nails digging into its flesh. "Morons! Morons, the lot of them!" Alexia finally had enough. Stop that already!" Suddenly, the ceiling above the main archway began to crumble. The scientist looked up in terror. No! It's them! They're already here!" Alexia sat calmly in her chair. "Looks like the knights are here to save me." "Give it up," she advised. "If you don't resist, the Knight Order won't force a fight." The man laughed hysterically. "The knights! Who cares about the knights? They won't show mercy!" he screamed, clutching his head. "Everyone in their way is slaughtered to the last man!" Alexia's brow furrowed. "Wait, the ones coming here aren't knights? What's going on?" Driven to utter desperation, the scientist made his final, insane gambit. "To hell with it all! I was this close to perfecting it! I have no choice but to test the prototype!" He turned to the cowering monster. "Come here, you failure! Perhaps you can be of use, now!" He plunged the syringe into the creature's neck. "Give them a glimpse of Diabolos!" The monster's body began to snap and contort, swelling with grotesque power. Alexia cried out as the creature transformed into a hulking brute. The scientist cackled with glee. "Good! That's it! Truly wonderful!" In his moment of triumph, the monster's newly enlarged claws swung down, splattering him against the wall. Alexia stared at the red spray that now decorated her shirt. Like pizza sauce! She glanced from the looming monster to her own predicament, a vision of her more capable older sister flashing in her mind. "And how will I get out of this now? I will not die because some lunatic dragged me into his mess!" The monster roared and smashed through the wall, the force of the blow sending Alexia flying. She landed hard amidst the rubble, but as she stood, she realized the chain on one wrist was broken. It's gone? She looked at her freed hand in disbelief. Did it mean to save me? A moment later, she clenched her fist. No, that's silly. She picked her way through the wreckage. She soon came across the bodies of 2 guards, slain by the mysterious attackers. Kneeling, she took a sword from one of the corpses. "You must be a guard here. I'll borrow your sword and boots." A smooth voice cut through the silence. "There's no need for that, Alexia." She turned to see Zenon Griffey, her instructor and unwanted suitor, standing there like a hero from a storybook. "You're safe now. I've come for you." "Instructor Zenon!" Alexia gasped, a wave of relief washing over her. Meanwhile, the streets of the capital were in chaos. Princess Iris Midgar, Alexia's elder sister and a captain of the Knight Order, received another frantic report. "Is that true? Another attack? This time at a restaurant?" "Yes, I'm told there have been similar attacks at a harbor warehouse and a family home," a knight confirmed as they ran. "What on earth is going on?" Iris demanded. "There's no common thread to these attacks," she thought, struggling to find a pattern. "Who is behind this? What's their goal?" A scream from a nearby alley drew their attention. "Over there!" Iris yelled, drawing her sword and charging ahead. They burst into a square to find the hulking monster terrorizing the citizens. "Commander, what is that monster?" a young knight yelled. An older commander tried to maintain order. "Calm down and help the townspeople evacuate. Leave this one to me." His bravery was short-lived as the monster's massive arm swatted him aside. It grabbed another knight who screamed for help. In a flash, Iris was there, her sword striking the monster's chest and forcing it to release its captive. She landed gracefully, a spray of dark blood arcing behind her. "Are you injured?" she asked the knight she'd saved. "Lady Iris," he stammered in awe. "Thank you. That's amazing, Lady Iris. With just one strike, you—" "Save your thanks for later, and report," she cut him off. "What's going on here?" "We can't make sense of it either," the knight explained, gesturing to the fallen. "We were heading to the scene of an attack when this monster appeared out of nowhere. We lost 8 people." "I see," Iris said, her expression grim. "Carry the bodies away," she ordered. "I will take over—" "Lady Iris!" The monster, far from defeated, lunged again. Iris spun, her blade slicing cleanly through its arm. But, to her horror, the severed limb began to knit itself back together. "It's regenerating? How? That can't be!" a knight gasped. "Stand back," Iris commanded, her focus absolute. "It's still only a monster." She unleashed a furious flurry of strikes, dicing the creature to pieces. "Let's see you try regenerating after this." And yet the mangled flesh began to reform once more. "It's still regenerating?" Iris panted, sweat beading on her brow. "Then I won't hold back on the magic," she declared, gripping her sword tightly. "This will end it." Before she could strike, a black-clad figure moved with impossible speed, and Iris's sword was suddenly spinning through the air. It clattered to the stone floor, leaving her disarmed and stunned. A calm, feminine voice spoke. "You're just causing her more suffering." Iris stared at the beautiful, masked elf who had appeared from nowhere. "Can't you see?" "Who are you?" Iris demanded. The elf replied with a single word. "Alpha." "Why are you here?" Iris challenged, her fighting spirit unbroken. "If you oppose the Night Order, there will be no mercy." Alpha looked at her with pity. "Oppose? You presume to be worthy of opposition, ignorant fool." The words struck Iris harder than any physical blow. "You're nothing but an audience, so keep off the stage and observe. Do not hinder us." Alpha then turned her attention to the monster, her voice softening. "You poor thing, it must have hurt." She raised her sword, not in aggression, but in benediction. "But you need suffer no longer. You need mourn no longer. You have cried enough." A wave of pure white magic washed over the creature. It did not scream in pain, but seemed to dissolve peacefully into the light. As the mist cleared, Iris and her knights could only stare in disbelief. Where the monster had been, a small naked girl now lay on the ground. Alpha knelt, her hand hovering over a small dagger that lay beside the child. The blade was inscribed, "To my beloved daughter, Milia. I hope that you will find peace in the afterlife," Alpha whispered, before turning and vanishing into the night. Iris and her remaining knight stood frozen in the dissipating mist. The knight looked at his trembling commander. "Lady Iris?" Iris stared up at the imposing structure of the secret facility, her mind finally connecting the pieces. "She must buy the key to this mad chaos," she whispered, her voice filled with a new urgency. "My sister, Alexia. I can't help but feel that she's important to this. Alexia, please be safe." Back in the now quiet corridors of the hideout, Xenon led Alexia towards the exit. "I'm so glad to see you safe and sound. I worried immensely after hearing that you disappeared." "Your sister will also be happy to hear that you've been found," he continued smoothly. "There's a carriage waiting outside. I will escort you to the castle with it." Alexia looked at him, her expression unreadable. "Well, aren't you well prepared?" "How did you know where to find me?" she asked. "I sensed your magic, of course," he replied without hesitation. "Although we were surprised to see a monster burst forth. The knights have led the monster away, and I took the chance to rush in here." They stopped walking. "Is that so?" Alexia said, her eyes narrowing. "Instructor Xenon. The thing is, my magic was sealed until just a few moments ago. Even if you picked up traces of my magic, it wouldn't have been so easy to pinpoint my location so quickly." She took a step back, her suspicion hardening into certainty. "Such a swift rescue is above even your capabilities. It's almost as if you already knew where I was. Did you really come here to rescue me?" Xenon fell silent, his charming smile faltering. "Instructor, is something the matter?" He raised a hand to his face, hiding his expression. "Oh, it's nothing." He let out a low chuckle, the sound devoid of any warmth. "I'm just astonished at how much of a pain in the ass you are, Princess. You didn't need to make this harder than it had to be." His true self, hidden beneath the facade, finally emerged. With a wide, crazed grin, he reached for her. "You suspected right. This facility is mine. I'm the one who funded that man's work. And now you're coming with me, Alexia."